An economic crisis has hit South Park and the nation like never before.
Money. We love it, but it hates us right back.
I hate you!
We chase it like Randy chases his dreams of the perfect margarita. And it vanishes quicker than a pumpkin spice at Starbucks when a bunch of 16-year-old girls pull up.
Twist and it's gone.
Nobody's captured this toxic relationship better than South Park's Margaritaville episode. A masterclass in economic collapse that resonates even harder today. The economy tanks, Americans turn into walking bundles of fear and confusion.
And so why is our economy failing us? Because the government!
We start hunting for someone to blame, craving answers so desperately we'll follow any random dude speaking financial gibberish with enough confidence.
It is the Jews! Covetous Jews who have taken all our money and hoarded it for themselves!
Randy Marsh becomes our perfect mirror.
Fault lies in all of you!
Draped in bed sheets, preaching about an angry economy.
Cut spending to only the bare essentials.
All while secretly planning his escape to Cabo, with his life savings stuffed in his grandma's holiday fruitcake tin. South Park nails how we cope with economic disaster by turning finance into a religion.
The economy is our shepherd. We shall not want.
The faithful gather around financial gurus like cult members, nodding along to buzzwords they don't understand. Volatility, they whisper. Quantitative easing, they chant. Meanwhile, the high priests of Wall Street keep their real secrets hidden behind a wall of jargon thicker than Cartman's ego.
Shut your goddamn Jew mouth!
I'm still chuckling at the scene where Stan tries returning his dad's stupid blender.
I want to return this Margaritaville my stupid dad bought.
He bounces between departments, each expert speaking a language more confusing than the last.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'd like to give you a refund, but I'm afraid it's not doable.
That's not just comedy gold. It's South Park exposing how financial institutions keep us bewildered on purpose.
Yeah, we can't give you your money back for that. Yeah, no. You'd have to talk to the people on Wall Street. Yeah.
The more complicated they make it, the less likely we are to question what's really going on.
Just talk to the Treasury Department in D.C. They're the ones who really understand how all this works.
And then there's Kyle, our unlikely economic savior. While everyone's running around blaming immigrants, corporations, and each other, he figures out what we're all too scared to admit. The economy isn't some vengeful deity. It's just us, people buying stuff, selling stuff, and occasionally losing our minds over stuff.
Faith is what makes an economy exist. Without faith, it is only plastic cards and paper money.
What I find genius is when Randy starts preaching about the economy's vengeance.
Well, here we are, my friends. You have brought the economy's vengeance upon yourselves.
I've seen mega churches with less devoted followers than South Park's economic cult. The townspeople ditch their clothes for bedsheets, trade cars for llamas, and start pelting anyone who buys unnecessary items. You know, totally normal crisis behavior.
Take that punishment, heathen! Wow! Oh, darn it!
But what makes this so brilliant isn't just the religious satire, it's how perfectly it mirrors our own economic meltdowns. Like those financial experts on TV who speak in riddles while the stock market burns. Or those self-proclaimed market gurus popping up on social media, each one claiming they cracked the code to infinite wealth. That whole scene at the Treasury Department, comedy gold.
I want to return this Margaritaville. My dad bought it on a payment plan set up by a finance company that got investors from Wall Street who combined it into securities sold to the banks who transferred it to you.
Stan follows his blender problem up the chain of command, desperately seeking someone who understands what's going on.
No problem. We just need to consult the chart. We can determine your property's value and we'll be done.
Turns out the guys in charge are just letting a headless chicken make decisions by running around on a giant board. Sounds ridiculous until you realize it's probably more reliable than half the economic forecasts out there. Now, where it gets real is the fact that South Park isn't just making fun of economic collapse. They're showing us how we turn into complete lunatics the moment money gets weird. One minute we're normal people, buying stuff we don't need with money we don't have. The next minute we're joining economic doomsday cults and treating Federal Reserve announcements like prophecies. It's wild how 86% of Americans can't figure out how to save for retirement, but Randy somehow convinces an entire town that wearing bedsheets will please the economy gods.
We must let the economy know that we are capable of respecting it.
That's the thing about financial panic. It turns regular folk into desperately gullible followers. One day you're questioning why your 401k is performing worse than a gambling addiction. The next day you're nodding along to some random on YouTube, explaining how Bitcoin will make us all billionaires. The banks aren't helping either. That banker who vaporizes Stan's birthday money, He's speaking the same mystifying language every financial institution uses.
We can put that check in a money market mutual fund. Then we'll reinvest the earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
Market mutual funds, compound interest, diversified portfolio. Might as well be an ancient Sanskrit. They're not trying to confuse us by accident. It's their whole business model. I lost it when Kyle pulls out his American Express like he's Moses parting the Red Sea.
It is an American Express Platinum card. It has no spending limit.
South Park nails how we treat credit cards like magic wands that can solve all our problems. Never mind the soul-crushing debt. Look at all this stuff we can buy. It's exactly how we handled those stimulus checks during that big cough season. Instead of saving for the apocalypse, everyone went shopping like the economy was having a going out of business sale. South Park drops the real truth bomb through Kyle. He figures out what all those fancy economists missed. The economy isn't some mysterious force that needs human sacrifices. It's just us, regular people, buying stuff, selling stuff, and occasionally losing our marbles over stuff.
The economy is not a supernatural, all-knowing entity. The economy is just an idea, made up by people.
While Randy's out there organizing witch hunts for anyone who buys a Foreman grill, Kyle's breaking down economics better than any Harvard professor.
The economy is not real, and yet it is real.
The economy tanks because we're all too scared to spend money. We're too scared to spend money because the economy's tanking. It's an endless cycle of stupidity we can't seem to break. That Treasury Department scene hits different now. A gaggle of suits letting a headless chicken make financial decisions by running around on a giant board? Sounds ridiculous until you realize the Lehman Brothers probably had a more convoluted system. At least the chicken was honest about not knowing what it was doing. Now look at those financial advisors. South Park shows them speaking in tongues like medieval priests protecting sacred texts.
Thine own stockbrokers now lie dead by their own hand, and thou knowest that thou stockbrokers did not fear the economy.
Except instead of Latin, they're using terms like market correction and volatility. Same energy though. Keep the peasants confused and dependent on your wisdom. The real masterstroke comes when Kyle finally snaps. Instead of joining Randy's economic doomsday cult or trusting the headless chicken futures market, he does something truly radical.
Faith is what makes an economy exist.
He makes the whole situation simple enough for everyone to understand. The town responds to Kyle's common sense like vampires to sunlight. Pure pandemonium. They've gotten so used to complicated explanations and fancy financial jargon that simple truth feels like a gut punch. Sound familiar? That's exactly how Wall Street reacts whenever someone suggests making banking easier to comprehend. South Park nails this mass hysteria perfectly. The more scared people get about money, the more they crave someone to tell them what to do.
What can we do, Randy?
Randy becomes their prosperity prophet, preaching about economic sins while making minimum payments on his blender. The whole town follows him like lost sheep, proving that fear turns regular folks into cult members. Most surprising, Kyle saves everyone by maxing out his credit card, literally becoming Jesus with an American Express.
What's he doing? He's paying for everyone's debts.
Makes perfect sense in a system where we worship credit scores and treat debt like holy water. Some might call it satire, except the same thing happened when those stimulus checks dropped. People treated government money like divine intervention instead of, their own tax dollars coming back to haunt them.
He paid for our debts so we could spend once more.
What's truly mind-blowing about Margaritaville isn't just how it roasts our financial system, it's how nothing has changed since it first aired. We're still treating economics like a religion, still falling for fancy financial jargon, still blaming everyone else when things go wrong. Randy walking around in bed sheets preaching about the economy's vengeance might seem ridiculous, but turn on any financial news channel right now. You'll find the same prophets of doom wearing better suits, speaking the same mysterious language, selling the same false promises. South Park peeled back all those layers of economic bullshit and showed us what's really underneath. Just scared people doing scared people things. Whether it's Randy's starting an economic cult, Stan getting bounced between clueless experts, or Kyle realizing the whole system runs on faith and fear, they nailed exactly how America handles money troubles.
The reason we're in this situation is because people are being stupid. The economy isn't some vengeful being that takes things away from us. The economy is just made up of people.
Maybe next time the economy tanks, and let's face it, there's always a next time, we'll remember what South Park taught us. The economy isn't some angry deity demanding sacrifices. It's just us, buying stuff we don't need with money we don't have, and freaking out when the bill comes due. You know who else fakes understanding basic concepts while pushing their own agenda? Every corporation that jumps on the diversity bandwagon. If you thought our economic delusions were wild, wait until you see South Park rip apart Hollywood's performative wokeness. Our next video, South Park's bold stand against woke culture, shows exactly how they expose corporate America's favorite new religion, turning social justice into a marketing strategy.